last but not least is definitely a story that's going to touch a little bit around the fact that, it doesn't matter what position you're in, you can have a good crack at this and you just have to keep on and continue to work hard. I want to introduce you to Esme. Welcome to the stage. So for Esme, she started and went out married, and you bought into a coffee shop. You had a coffee shop running along the way, and your lease came up.
I had a coffee shop, and was doing all right, doing pretty well. And like the owner used to come and have coffees every single day. And I'm talking about the shopping center manager. So shopping center owner. Yeah, so he used to come every day and had a cup of coffee and everything. But one day he died. And his wife took over the shopping center. So when my lease came for renewal, she just gave me like 1 month notice to tell me.
So she basically said she doesn't want to negotiate with you, 1 month, get out.
Yeah.
So that happens really quickly. So you're all of a sudden, everything that you've known for a while building up a business is gone. And at that point in time also, you get an email from your husband at the time.
Yeah, around about the same time. I was married for 20 years, and my husband went for a holiday to Malaysia, and then like 1 month turned to 2 months, and then suddenly one day I opened my computer, went to work, and suddenly there was an email that said, goodbye.
So you got told that you no longer wanted to be your husband in an email.
Yeah, I got dumped by email.
So you're going through paperwork and you find his life insurance policy.
I never opened his letters. I'm not one of those smart women that go through your phone.
I'm going to stop you there because Dimna just went, that's not going to happen. You just said you're not a smart woman, and when these people see what you've done in the last few years, they will say that you're an absolutely brilliantly smart woman. Okay?
Anyway,
Esme, do you need some I Am Brilliant oil?
Yes. Danny ran out.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, there was this a letter, and I didn't know what it was. I mean, it had his name on it, so I opened it. It was his life insurance. This is my husband's life insurance, and when I read it, right, the first thing I saw was like he left, like when he dies, he'll leave the money to who, so and so, right? So the first one I saw was like my son's name, right? So the second one I saw was like, it was a name and it says daughter, and I was thinking, daughter? What daughter? I don't have a daughter.
I don't remember that one.
And then second one, again it says daughter, and I'm thinking, what is this? And then I looked at it and I'm reading, below it, and it says spouse. I mean, it's a name and a spouse. It was not my name, And then.
So you'd been removed from his insurance policy, and he'd added another spouse and another 2 kids that you didn't know about.
Yeah, and then there was another one. Okay, so there was 2 spouses, and my name was not even on it. Wow.
So you go to so you can see there's a bit of shock here. Now you do manage to scrape together enough in the coffee shop to be able to on-sell it. She just didn't want to deal with you, the owner of the shopping centre, and you managed to sell the coffee shop to someone else for $100,000.
On the day, because they use a company name, so on the day, right, I realized that it was actually the coffee shop downstairs actually bought my business. So I don't know whether she had a deal with them. But
okay, so they go in there. You're walking around like a zombie. At this point, your whole life has just fallen apart around you. You're going off and doing seminars, and to you, your word is you're just walking around like a zombie. And you go to a different.
Just flicking from one seminar, I don't know.
And you just go to a Dimna event, but something twigs for you.
Yeah, I went to one of Dimna's events, and suddenly she put some, snapped me out of the zombie state, I suppose.
So you get your light bulb moment, you join up, and you get to the point where you say you don't really have a lot. You've got $100,000, which is okay, but you've got no job, so you've got to go off and find a job, and you start thinking outside the box. And you're not one of those people that, people buy shoes and they buy clothes and they look after themselves. What do you buy?
Yeah, so basically, a lot of young girls, they like to buy designer clothes, designer shoes, that sort of thing. But I was never one of those. I like to buy antique. I like to collect Lalique, French art type of thing. I bought antique furniture. I like Candone. I like paintings. I like Pro Art. You know what I mean? So I had all of those. So I was thinking, I want to do property, but how can I do this? The moment I asked myself, how can I do it? Then the penny dropped.
So you went off and you started selling, instead of buying shoes, which don't go up in value, you started selling antiques and whatever you
I went to a lot
had.
of auction houses, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yep, and sold those off, and you set some goals.
Yes. I never really believed in goals, and I'm a real scatterbrain, and I never want to write down goals. But for once, I put pen to paper. And one thing I realized that, a lot of rich people, they either make their money elsewhere, but they always park their money in property. Also, another thing is I realized that with the rich people, they have one very good cash cow business. You know what I mean? Year in, year out, they have money coming in, and I had to ask myself, what is my cash cow business? You know what I mean?
So you're not, you put up here, you're not married to Rupert Murdoch. So what you mean by that is, that Rupert Murdoch's partner has got cash flow coming in via him. You're on your own. You've got to find your own cash
cow. I'm
cow.
not much of a professional. I mean, like people that make 100, 200,000 grand a year.
So you had two-step strategy. Firstly was to acquire 50 properties in 77 years, and the second one was to go off and revisit each of the properties and add stuff down the track. So you wanted to get as many properties as you could, and then go back and do stuff to them.
Exactly.
Yep, and which is the stage you're at now. So because there's a lot of property deals. So your first deals when you went in were basically cash deals because you had a low income and you bought at low prices, which was regional. Yeah, you did creative stuff. And then you built that up. So what we're going to show here is a snapshot of the most recent properties, and then we'll give you a complete total portfolio at the back end of this. So the new property deals that you were looking at here is going to Western Sydney. You thought Western Sydney was the place to go. It was a hot market, and you also looked at stuff around. And why Sydney? Well, explain this map here.
Okay, so basically, as you can see, all right, the place I bought is the blue one, right? It's in the Blacktown area. And then you've got some Parramatta on the right-hand side. So it's halfway between Parramatta and Penrith. And I'm just asking myself, I did look at, Brisbane. I did look at, a mining town in Queensland. And I did look at, Sydney. And I asked myself, if I can only have one, because I don't have a lot of money, where will I buy? And I thought, definitely Sydney. Because, 5 years onward, Sydney, the face of Sydney is going to change drastically. We're going to have 2 CBDs, which is really rare. I can't think of a country that has that. And if you look at Parramatta, that's going to be the next CBD. And the mayor is a very enthusiastic, very ambitious type of mayor. He wants to build the tallest building in Australia, and it's got a viewing platform. And also, he wants to spend like $200 million on the foreshore of Parramatta. He wants to make it like Bondi Beach, do you believe it? So he wants to bring sand and put it there.
Yeah.
And he's going to have deck chairs. And
that's good, that's going to work. Big visionary. So essentially Blacktown's near the CBD of Parramatta, and you've got 2 employment hubs that are going in there. Just stand over here in front of the board. So that's the reason you chose that. You've gone off, you buy a unit in Penrith. There you do a quick renovation to it. It's a cease estate. You bought it for $149.
Yes, somebody died on a lounge. I didn't dare to tell the carpenter in case they might run away.
So the renovation afterwards, you just do a $21,000 renovation. You go in there and you clean it up, and we've got. So you bought it in 2009 for $149, and you sold it for $280 in 2014. So a good make of money out of that. You do a Parramatta project. Now this is an interesting outside the box way of looking at property, and I commend you for that. You buy a shop.
Yeah. So basically, suddenly, Parramatta, became very, very. They have a lot of shops being built and a lot of apartments, and when my tenant left, okay, I had a bit of difficulty renting out, and also trying to sell it was like could only get about 250, right? So I had to think outside the square and did a renovation on it, and made it into a apartment.
So you went back, got approval from Body Corp and got approval from the council to convert that commercial space into a 2-bedroom unit.
Yes. Okay.
So you go in there, you tie it up, you've got a shot here, the top left-hand side is before, and you can see the walls added in, a kitchen, bathroom, and so you've got the shop there worth 250, you spent 100, and its current value is 450. So you've got 100k of growth by converting it from a shop to a residential unit in the area. So that's a really smart way of thinking about outside the box and thinking about what we can do. Then you go here, you got Parramatta. This one is one that you.
A bit later about it, but that's what it looks
Okay.
like. Parramatta penthouse. Yeah.
This one here is Parramatta as well.
Yeah. That's part of the penthouse just now that you saw.
Yeah.
I nearly sold it in.
So you nearly sold it
Yeah.
in 012 for
Yeah.
how much?
Somebody offered about 720, and then the year later, and I said no, okay, and then 2013 again, that same person offered me about 780, which is the price I really wanted. But somehow I had this gut feeling that how you have this queasy feeling that even though the price is right, you don't feel happy about it. You feel something's wrong. So sometimes you listen to your gut. Okay, so I didn't sell it. So, but then what happened is that today, I have real estate agents ringing me up every day, and you could sell it for about $1 million. Yeah.
Good keeping. Waylon.
So that's the property that I just bought about 1 month ago. I'm only used to buying, in a down property, and I never buy in an auction. Okay, I'll tell you why. Because my ex used to be best friends with very big franchise chain, and he used to be the dummy bidder. there.
Well,
So,
apart from the fact that it's now illegal,
yes.
but yeah, there's reasons I don't like buying at auctions, obviously.
Yeah, so usually, it's just me and no one, you know what I mean? But this time, because the hot market is quite an amazing one, they were asking for 580. So, when I saw it, I did make them an offer. I wrote it on paper. I said 520. And he just opened it and he gave it back to me and says, no way, they won't accept it. So, so I left it, okay? But the Sydney market is totally mad. Every fortnight it's kind of going like 20,000 up, you know what I mean? So the next day I rang them back and I say, look, how about, 580 is too much, really too much, okay? How about 550? And he said, and then he rang me back later and he says, okay, And I was thinking, oh dear, maybe I paid too much.
Everyone thinks that, don't worry. Okay, so what are you doing in there?
This one,
You've tidied it up, obviously.
yeah, it's just to show you, if I bought a house by itself, it's like 450, and I put a brand new flat, it's probably 550, so I might as well just buy one with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it already had a granny flat in it, so a secondary dwelling, which means you can rent it out. So these sort of deals are bringing you income up to now. You buy this one, you've got equity being built, and you've got money coming in from cash flow that you can go off on other things. So you go off and you start helping around the world. You do stuff to help others and being poor, and in particular the leaking woman syndrome. And interestingly enough, Esme didn't know why, but I understand exactly this. I explained why, but tell us about leaking women.
Okay, so to me, property investing is not just for making money for ourselves, it's also about giving back to society. So my course is actually, it's called Leaking Women. It's actually obstetrics fistula. So there's a lot of, to this day, there's a lot of people in Africa, women, right? Because they married young, okay, and when sometimes they get pregnant and then the baby dies, okay, in their womb, and it causes a hole, so they leak, urine and feces 24/7.
So what you've got is a breakdown of the membrane skin between the colon and the vagina, and you've got raw product going between the two, and that's really quite debilitating. And for the women, there's an offensive smell that comes from it, and they are frowned upon simply because they've got this condition.
Yeah, and their husband and their family don't want them. Just push them out, put them in a little hut, and they don't even know why. Okay, they don't even know that it can be cured by a $600 operation.
So you
it's
help
so
out.
Sad. Like all I can think of is that here we are. We fight for animal causes and this and that cause, and we forgot the other species. Our own species, okay, which is us women.
So you help out there. You also went and did the USA boot camp and bought property over there too, because you saw cash flow coming, and you bought way back when it was low and the dollar was strong too.
Yeah, 2013, and then that bought about 50,000 at that time, and then there's so it's a house, and then on the side of it, okay, there's also another piece of land which you can put 3 caravans. So I like to look at twists, so I can develop in the future.
Okay. So let's get this into perspective, right? Because we've only showed a few properties because we couldn't show them all. In 2015, when you first joined in 2008, how many properties did you have?
Yeah, I mean, in my first year, right,
No, hang on. How many properties did you have in 2008?
I had nothing.
Had not one property, right?
Oh, I didn't.
So from 2008 to 2015, you've developed a portfolio of 20 properties and a value of over $1.9 million worth of equity with a passive income of $50,000. Isn't that amazing? So notice here that those first purchases are very low cost purchases, and as you can see, there's a building of wealth as it goes along. You've got to sometimes start very low and work your way through, starting with a cash base and then using a little bit of income to get you. So you've got some advice here around having people have partners in this crowd, but you didn't.
Yes. Well, I did it all alone, and I'm a single mom. So I think if I can do it, you guys can do it too. So, and also if you think oh, it's too late for me, or I'm too old or whatever, well, think again, because for myself, I only started driving in my late 30s. I was computer illiterate until like a couple of years ago, and I'm a really slow learner. So if I can do it, I'm sure you guys can too. Okay? You're smarter than me. Okay. Keep the income power.
I want to, like yesterday, on Friday, Esme came up completely concerned about her story not being able to match up against her. Sorry.
Yeah, so awesome.
Yes. And she was concerned that her story wouldn't match up against the other success stories, and I can honestly say, and I think you all believe that this is a pretty good story, and I want to thank you for that.
It's not because of her, I don't think there is me. It's very important when you start off to have somebody that you can really, kind of look up to, adore, Yeah, so she's my goddess.
Thank you, Esme.